Hello again! What's up, ballers? I think it's about time we talked about some super cheesing where the Moonkins shive like an absolute gangster. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? I went ahead and muted my microphone again because I suck that much ass. I do, and you know who's not impressed? Gizmo. Gizmo is not impressed with my lack of ability to unmute my microphone. In part 1, we looked at single target DPS of Moonkins and how to manage our dots effectively while we're nuking a boss, okay? We had this really tricky moment where Moonkins were like, oh, my dots wear off, you know, and I want to keep dots up 100% of the time. We actually talked about how you can keep 100% uptime on your dots and keep them super powerful. Keep them massively hasted from nature's grace, and now we could keep that going 100% of the time and just get awesome dot uptime. Now, the big thing about Moonkins is their dots super fucking hurt, especially the solar dots. Insect Swarm and Sunfire really hurt. Back in around about early Cataclysm, Moonkins, no, I want to talk more like Wrath of the Lich King. No. I'm going to take it even further back. Yeah, around about Wrath of the Lich King Cataclysm time, early Cataclysm, Moonkins found a way to just... You never generated lunar or solar energy while dotting. That just wasn't a part of the game, okay? What they gave you was this ability called Lunar Shower. Lunar Shower said if you shimmied and shuffled, that you could keep doing dots and they would cost virtually 0 mana. So Moonkins had this ridiculous ability of getting into solar and literally just doing this. And there was something called the Moonkin Shuffle, which sounds retarded because Moonkins look retarded anyway. Moonkins look absolutely fucking stupid. Oh, do you all like Gizmo? Give Gizmo. You can have your own Gizmo later in the day. And yes, I am following the chat both on our forum on preachgaming.com and on Twitch. So if it lags a little bit on Twitch, don't worry, I can still see you there. Oh, don't you worry, Preska. We'll get to Lunar Shower in a moment. So the original version of Lunar Shower meant if you could do the Moonkin Shuffle, which would be like this, and just kept casting dots, that they would cost virtually no mana and do horrendous amounts of damage because they did no energy. So you would stay in solar forever, and all you had was Moonkins just doing this all the time. It was crazy to watch in raids. A good Moonkin was just all over the place. They were just running around like, you know, like this, like a womble or something. Absolutely insane. They were like someone sat on a disco table, and they were just dotting, and Moonkins were pulling sort of 40 and 50k DPS, and everyone else was just going, this is ridiculous. This is total troll face. But the Moonkins absolutely loved it. They thought it was a brilliant thing. So Blizzard wasn't happy with that whatsoever. They didn't like it whatsoever, and went ahead and changed it. They changed Lunar Shower. So I'm actually just gonna reload the chat because my laptop just died, so I can no longer see chat, which makes me really sad. Really sad. So Moonkin Shuffle was like the plague of Moonkins. Moonkins hated this thing. Because it wasn't fun to keep shuffling left and right all the time. It was just a pain in the ass, right? So the Moonkins didn't like it, and Blizzard did not like that Moonkins were doing the most AoE damage in the game, just pressing Moonfire and fucking Insect Swarm. They hated that. Every damn shuffling they were just giving it all, you know, they were fist bumping left and right. They were giving it some big Jersey Shore style fist bumping. Beating the music, I think, or beat the beat, whatever those guys say. That's what they were doing. So Blizzard changed Lunar Shower, and I'm going to show you the Lunar Shower spell as it is now, currently implemented in the game. Doosh! Thank you, Wowhead. Rump. Lunar Shower. When you cast Moonfire, you gain Lunar Shower. Lunar Shower increases direct damage done by your Moonfire by 45% and reduces the mana cost by 30%. This effect stacks 3 times, so a 90% mana reduction. Oh, I clicked something. Sneaky adverts hidden behind advert. That's cheap play. Very naughty, Wowhead. Earning money. While you're under the effect of Lunar Shower, Moonfire generates 8 solar energy and Sunfire generates 8 lunar energy. So they tried to implement this ability where, like, it would completely fuck it up. So they couldn't do this anymore. They thought it was hilarious, okay? So Blizzard were like, no more do we want these guys doing fucking crazy amounts of damage. AoE damage. But they still made it a talent, right? And they gave Moonkins these abilities like Dream State and stuff like that, where essentially they could still do it. And the ability to abuse this is actually going to become core. So we're going to jump into War Master Blackhorn. Warmaster Blackhorn is typically one of the top DPS fights by Moonkins. Moonkins just adore Warmaster Blackhorns. In fact, they adore any fight they can multi-dot on. A good Moonkin could do this dance and just be absolutely over the moon. And all they do is they do not spec into Lunar Shower. If they don't spec into Lunar Shower, they can quite happily live in Solar all the time. Don't worry, Gizmo's still here. And he knows how to do the shuffle. In fact, he looks a bit like a Moonkin. This is a Moonkin DPSing back in early Cataclysm. That's what they look like. Absolutely ridiculous, absolutely stupid. Let me fire up this. Dots. Okie dokie. Good, good, good. Off we go. So we're going to watch Dirgekin again. Now, Dirgekin is going to try and play the fight how he feels like a baller should do. A baller should be focusing on this fight on the Drakes. Now, again, it's looking for raid, which we all think, oh, looking for raid's garbage. But looking for raid is a great way to test your mechanics. Don't think of looking for raid as actual raiding. It really isn't. It's not at all. So we're going to see him go ahead and dot up this one target. And he's got himself into Solar nice and early. Now, what you'll notice is he's not abusing the simple fact of being a mechanic, of being a Moonkin. He's not multi-dotting, which is very, very dangerous as Moonkin. Oh, not only did you not move then, troll face. But you can see he's only DPSing the one target. This target has gone completely untouched. Let me go back. This target here, this bloke here who just slammed him in the face with an axe and did 25,000 damage to him, goes completely untouched for this entire fight. He literally focuses on the one guy and keeps up his rotation as much as possible. He then goes ahead and moves onto the Drakes, avoiding Twilight Onslaught like a gangster. And then he just DPS's the one Drake. Now, there's this weird moment, guys, and I want to touch on this, and maybe raid leaders will hate me for this, where, yes, realistically, tunneling down a Drake is effectively one of a good thing to do. The Drake, if you don't know how this fight works in normal and heroic, the Drakes actually control when the boss will come. Not the guys on the ground. The Drakes are your priority, okay? As soon as you go through 6 Drakes, the boss will come. If you don't kill the Drakes, they'll fly away. So, realistically, the ranged DPS and the melee, as we discussed in a previous workshop, should be downing the Drakes as a priority. They're your priority, and you can cleave the rest down happily at your own leisure. Basically, all we want to do is make sure the Drakes die so we can get to the boss. So, it seems reasonable for a raid leader to go, range DPS, kill the Drakes. This isn't always true, and in fact, it's a very weak way of looking at things. If you have a class that can unstoppably do crazy amounts of damage to multiple targets, you should be allowing them to do that. The only reason you should stop doing them is if there's a lack of DPS from the more direct hitters. Your more direct hitters like your Hunters, your Destruction Warlocks, your Mages, who are more direct impact damage. If they're not able to take care of a Drake, then fair enough. Tell the Moonkins, stop multi-dotting, please. But also, Moonkins tend to completely abuse the fact that they do insane amounts of damage. They do crazy amounts of damage, Moonkins, when they start multi-dotting. Stupid amounts of damage. It's not uncommon on Spine of Deathwing Heroic in our guild to see the Moonkins doing sort of 60 to 70k DPS because they're assigned to kill the Bloods. That's a different sort of raid leadership that you should be looking to see. If you're a raiding Moonkin, you should be telling your raid leader, no, the advantage of my class is I can do crazy amounts of AoE damage, and it doesn't cost me any mana. I can just continuously do this. So, like in our guild, we assign the Moonkins and maybe the Elemental Shaman, who do natural amounts of cleave without losing much single target, to go ahead and do their AoE damage and take care of it for us, rather than the rest of us nuke down the required target. This is where advanced raid leadership comes from. And it also comes from you. You have the power to make sure this happens, okay? You are the ones who should be saying, I know how my class works. My class works in this particular way. So let me take full advantage of that to the raid. Multi-dotting is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's bad. Ragnaros Heroic was a huge example of this. All the Sons of Flame have come landing. The Moonkins, instead of single targeting one down, which we needed to happen, would often just run around dotting the hell out of everything and cheesing the damage meters up. That's the difference between a good use of it and a bad use of it, okay? On Warmaster Blackhorn, because considering we need to kill all the targets, and relatively speaking, the rest of the DPS should be able to single target nuke them down. you should be allowing them to do that. It's the same with Affliction Warlocks. Affliction Warlocks are amazing at War Master Blackhorn for doing outrageous amounts of damage. While you're progressing, it's not always the best thing, but when you're on farm, go ahead and let the Affliction Warlocks dot the hell out of everything and cleave the crap out of it, okay? Very, very important. So in fact, we can't really blame Dirgekin for doing this because it seems like the right thing. The dragons need to die. So he's gone ahead and he's single targeting down a dragon like he should do. And the other Moonkin is doing it too. I'll notice it here. Both of these Moonkins aren't taking advantage of the powers of their class. So important, guys, to understand the powers of your class. And in fact, at this point, you can see we had 3 or 4 seconds of downtime before we actually went ahead and got better and better at it. So this is going to continue on. And Dirgekin's going to just be essentially single target nuking for the remainder of the fight. Which is all cool. And he's going to finish up doing around... Where are you, Dirgekin? 17k there. He's about to die. Blah, blah, blah. About 17.5k DPS overall. Using the rest of his cooldowns and doing his single target nuke. So that's all good. No big deal there. And that's pretty cool. That's what Dirgekin's going to pull out. 17k DPS. And rightfully so, Dirgekin turned around and he said... I think I could do more. But I'm not really sure how to do more, you know? That's the thing. So, come on. I want to introduce you to a little friend of mine. Oh, who's that? Who's that? We're looking after some dogs today and they've come to say hello. You're a Moonkin as well, aren't you? You and Gizmo. What an ultimate baller team. So we're going to talk about how to take advantage of this and how Lunar Shower comes into play. Like I said, Moonkins bring 2 specs to the raid. They bring 2 specs to the raid and one of them has Lunar Shower and one of them doesn't. Some Moonkins will tell you Lunar Shower in general is just bad because we want to multi-dot exactly when we can do it, and Lunar Shower just prevents us from doing that. However, that's not always the case. Oftentimes, we actually like Lunar Shower because it generates energy. We actually like that, especially if we've got more than one target to DPS and we're not doing continuously constant AoE DPS. We actually enjoy the fact that we can use our dots to generate energy while multi-dotting. Morchok is a good example of this. Your Sargeon sleeping when the blobs come. These are all good examples of this happening. I'm going to have a little friend here for the remainder of the show. I'm pretty sure of it. So when it comes to doing mad AoE fights, Bounce Druids will often just switch and drop Lunar Shower, but they'll keep them for the single target fights. And that's cool. That's how it should be. So how do we take full advantage of that and be absolute gangsters? The demonstration I did for this was actually a little bit cheesy, I agree, but I'll show you anyway because I wanted to just make the point. Let's jump into here. Okay, here's Preacher. Again, notice how being zoomed out makes multi-dotting so much easier. Being zoomed out is one of the most important things I can tell you to do for enhancing your DPS. Just being able to see more allows you to dot that much easier because you can see everything you need to dot all over the place. If you're struggling with maintaining dots on every target, here's a little trick. Set focus to your first target that you're going to dot. Put that on your focus bar. Now, every time you do a round of dots, you can easily see on the focus that your original dots have run out and it's time for another round. Very easy. In this fight, I've dropped Lunar Shower. As you'll notice, I'm the only cheesy git who's going to go and stand on here. And you should all do this, by the way. It's very common in Method to see every caster up on this ledge when this fight starts. And I'll show you why in a moment. Are we going to start? Come on. There we go. Okay, I'll skip it to there. So when the fight starts, the 2 drakes actually spawn at the back of the boat. And as we're mainly killing the drakes, it's fully possible to dot the drakes as soon as they come past, and then they will fly away and then they'll come back. So we can dot them up on there, stick some dots on the mob before it lands, and then we dot up the other drake as it's flying by. Now those drakes will go ahead and fly away and disappear, all that good stuff. And as you can see, what I'm going to do immediately is get myself to solar eclipse as fast as humanly possible. I'm just casting Starfires, Starfire, 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 keep a couple of dots rocking and rolling. I just want to get to solar immediately. Come on, go solar, go solar, go solar. There we go, solar. So now I'm going to hit solar. And now all I'm going to do for literally the remainder of this fight is just multi-dot everything. Dots on you, dots on you, dots on you, dots on you. Now, the trick of doing this, guys, is literally to never come out of solar eclipse until such time as you're probably DPSing a single target. You want to stay in solar eclipse essentially for most of this fight. How do you do that? Because you feel naturally, instinctively drawn to casting Wrath. we just don't cast Wrath. We use Starfires in between and keep our Solar Eclipse up. Really, really good Moonkins. Better than I am, essentially. Better Moonkins than me will be able to swap Eclipses at appropriate time and to get the maximum benefit of the damage, and they will push it to sort of extreme levels. But that's for you guys to practice, and certainly in this game with my haste level and stuff, I ain't capable of doing it. No way. So I'm going to just leave the mouse alone and point and just be talking, really. And as you'll see here, I'm already pulling 24k DPS on this ridiculously bad geared Druid. That's how powerful these dots are, guys. They're stupidly powerful, really, really insane. I do go ahead and pop a couple of Star Surges while I'm moving. Don't be afraid to use Starfall in this situation either. And you can see there, 26k DPS. This is testament to how stupidly powerful these dots are. This Druid, wearing 353 Zul'Gurub gear and a combination of mishmashes and stuff and no set bonuses whatsoever, is going to go ahead and pull 26k DPS on this fight. Really stupid, and it's just showing you how powerful these dots are. Fucking crazy. No, I don't have Lunar Shower on this fight, because Lunar Shower would generate energy. So I've dropped Lunar Shower just to get the full-on effect of being stuck in Solar. I'm actually just going to be in Solar for so much of this fight, and it's actually going to cost me my life at one point, when you can all laugh at that. Oh! Be very careful if you're dealing with tanks that aren't the best. A little tip here, guys, and this goes for every caster, is the dragons, when they drop off the new Twilight Elite Slayers, this applies to everyone and not just Moonkins, especially if you've got some kind of dot, is when these die, you can see the drakes actually appear here. They're one there and one there. You can dot them before they fly away again. So I get dots on that one, I swap to the other drake, and I get dots on that one. So while those are not even in the fight, this is what dotters really need to start taking full advantage on. While they're not even in the fight, they're dotted and taking damage from me. Such as when Destruction Warlocks put Bane of Havoc on Garryona at the beginning. Garryona flies off for miles and miles and miles. Doesn't matter. All the damage you do on the ground is all transferred to Garryona. You get obscene amounts of damage. But as a good dotter, Shadow Priests, Moonkins, Affliction Warlocks, or Locks in general, as soon as the Drakes come by, you should be getting dots on them. Because while they fly away, your dots are all ticking away really nicely. So as you can see, I'm just sat in Solar. That's all I'm doing, is sat in Solar, just reapplying dots, and in between casting some Starfires. And you're going to see my damage around about 24 to 25k, and I'm just going to keep these dots rolling. Everything is ticking for so much damage, and you can see on the side of my MSBT, everything is ticking 53,000 damage just from the dots alone. 33k, 56k, 40k, 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 just spamming huge amounts of damage, and all I'm doing is sitting in Solar and redotting. Now it seems embarrassing, because some classes really struggle on this fight to do adequate damage. Some classes are like, especially the melee, when all the mobs are charging around and stuff, and then you see a Moonkin who just sits in Solar and just dots everything, doing tons of amounts of damage. This is just one of those fights where Moonkins can shine. And single target DPSing, which feels like the thing you should do, you should be doing that. Your raid leader tells you range DPS should kill the Drakes. That feels like what you should do. Remember the advantages of your class and speak to your raid leader. Say, look, even in this crap gear, look what I'm capable of doing and helping the raid overall. Allow me to multi-dot. And if they don't like it, just do it once and show them how powerful it is. I'm serious. A good raid leader will be taking full advantage of Moonkin dots all the time. We've done it tons of times. So as you can see, I'm just running around. I'm just casting Sunfire and Insect Swarm. And there you go. Third on DPS on this outrageous character. Where on Ultraxion I came, what, 19th? Or something stupid like that. This isn't a badly geared raid. And there you go, taking full advantage again of when these Drakes appear. You should be dotting them all the time. Don't be and the advantage again of being zoomed out is that you can see this happening and coming. And then you go, oh, Preacher! Oh! It's a sad, sad day when your Sunfire and your Moonfire cause you to get gibbed. It's really sad. But luckily, I brought a baller along in terms of Ashley, and Ashley went ahead and res me. But even after dying on this fight, I'm going to skip towards the end. Which is when I go ahead when you come to the end of the fight and you single target, and you should be using your normal rotation. That's cool. But even after dying for several seconds during this fight, I think ultimately I'm going to come out sort of fifth-ish, maybe fourth, maybe 24k. There you go, fourth on the damage meter, 23,000 damage. even after dying on this crazy, stupidly undergeared character. If I had maximum gear, imagine how much damage that would be. Totally crazy. So the tips for this one is to abuse your character's classes. Abuse your character's ability. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be taking full advantage of that character and class. If you know you can do incredible amounts of cleave damage, do it. Very, very simple. That's what you want to do. Although it feels all the time that we should be following the rules. Range DPS, kill this. Again, it's putting us in a box. We don't like being in a box. We want to get the fuck out of the box. And we want to do what our class is best at doing. That's what we want to do, and that's what I'm trying to teach you guys, okay? So for Dirgekin, if you're watching, or you watch this on YouTube, if you could take advantage of those and just try those out and maybe send in some videos to us, I would love to see what the change is. That would be absolutely awesome. So I'm going to take some questions now. I'm going to take them from both preachgaming.com and from Twitch. If you've got any questions for me, go ahead. I was going to do another workshop, but considering we've been going for an hour already, and I still want to go over the how to upload and submit a workshop to me, I'm going to do that instead. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes to send me some questions. I'm going to have to re-log into the chat room on the website. Oh! Yeah, it's not uncut. To give you an idea of how powerful these dots are, I've seen I'm Super SDW pull around 50 to 60k DPS on this fight pretty regularly, just by literally staying in solo and doing it. That's how powerful these dots become once you get more and more gear. Yeah, I got gibbed. I got smashed in the face. I think it was about 160k. Preach the immortal. I wasn't cheesing damage. See, this is the difference. This is what I want to get over to. It's a good point, that 5-star is cheesing damage. This is not cheesing damage. This is using your class properly. It's a fine line, I agree. There's a very fine line between cheesing damage and using your class properly. Pre-dotting the drakes that need to die as a priority is not cheesing damage. It really is not. It's taking advantage of what your class is capable of doing. It's a very fine line, I agree. But in these occasions, it's definitely the right line. You're not cheesing at this point. You're using your class properly. Any more questions? I'm going to do any class. I'm going to do a workshop for any class you guys send me. I currently have about 5 or 6 submitted videos, which I'm hoping to get workshops done for probably after the live show next week, depending on how completely smashed we end up. We'll see on that one. We'll see how the live show goes next week with the big web show. But if you have a video of you and you want to submit it to me, just send it to me at preachgaming@gmail.com and I'll happily do it. Any questions about moonkins and stuff? If anybody submits to me a fire mage on Ultraxion, gladly. I think we already did a fire mage, but it was on Madness, I believe. I've never used Hypercam. So most of these questions are actually about how to submit something. Anybody asking for a video, you will get your video up. Don't worry, I'm not going to miss anybody. A cancel or a macro to stop the dots from generating eclipse. Doesn't work like that, because as soon as you cast the dot, you're going to get the energy if you have Lunar Shower. The only way to successfully do it is to literally drop Lunar Shower, and therefore you don't have to worry about it anymore. I will warn you, pre-warn you, and I didn't mention it in the video, which I should have because I suck, is not taking Lunar Shower and doing this mass multi-dotting is massively mana intensive. Really mana intensive. You're going to be using Innervate on yourself a lot. Believe me, you can go out of mana very, very easily just spamming dots all over the place. You're going to need Dream State. You're going to need to pick up Dream State. And you're going to need to be keeping Innervate on yourself whenever you can. Use it on cooldown. Any more questions on this? Master Frost. The logo for Preach Gaming is coming. Okay, so most of these questions about how to submit a video. Okie dokie. I'll give it 2 more minutes, you ballers. What's the difference between the 2 Moonkin specs? The single target spec picks up Lunar Shower. We have Lunar Shower because it comes in handy sometimes, not all the time. Remember, Lunar Shower only procs from Moonfire, right? And as we cast Insect Swarm first when on Eclipse, and then cast Moonfire, we don't recast it immediately, so the Lunar Shower is essentially wasted. And some people will argue that Lunar Shower is just a complete waste of time. That's not entirely true. If we've got a fight like Morchok Heroic, where we can DPS 2 targets at once, we actually want to be swapping Eclipses. So getting the energy from the other dots while we multi-dot is actually beneficial, because it moves us to our next Eclipse quicker, Therefore, we're always still rocking and rolling as we would normally do. Same for your Sergeant and sleeping. We're not going to do huge amounts of multi-dying. Sure, some of us can go ahead and then absolutely rock and roll and DPS all the black things constantly. But generally, a good Moonkin will see the black blob coming first, way before it actually arrives, and then save themselves by doing the whole Starfire trick. They'll get themselves to Solar Eclipse and then just keep casting Starfire. One of the things I haven't made a big enough point of for you Moonkins out there is preparation of the fight. We talked about it a little bit at Ultraxing, but essentially you need to be thinking way in advance of when you're about to pull the boss. Your last trash pack before you get to the boss, you should be getting yourself into Solar Eclipse and not casting any dots. So you can immediately start in a good solid Solar Eclipse and firing off mushrooms and all that kind of good stuff. Remember, you're not recasting mushrooms unless it's AoE. You're just using the mushrooms at the beginning of the fight so you get some extra little bit of damage. But always be thinking as a Moonkin about your preparation. Really, really important, guys. Really, really important. I just want to point out as well that when we do the submission video, in fact I'll get there in a second, no big deal. Any more questions on the Moonkins? Survival Hunter questions. I don't know what I'll be playing in map. Is Starfire more damage effective in Lunar or Solar? Starfire is an arcane spell, and therefore Lunar Eclipse, which buffs arcane damage, is better for Starfire. So when you're in Lunar Eclipse, you literally use your Starfall, which is also arcane damage, and then just Starfire your ass all the way to Solar. That's how it works. A good time to use them? That's a good question by Diluaba. I think I've said that right. Good trinkets for Moonkins to use if you've got unused trinkets, especially if they're unused master. In fact, any unused trinket really is as soon as you hit probably Solar Eclipse. Remember, Solar Eclipse affects 3 out of our 4 main nukes. So I would use unused trinkets as soon as I hit a Solar Eclipse. Get those first couple of dots. Remember, Sunfire hits like a truck, okay? Sunfire is going to smash things in the face. Insect Swarm gets a buff too. When you get to your Solar Eclipse, fire off your unused trinkets, especially if they're Mastery based. Because remember, Mastery affects our Eclipse damage. So you get all sorts of extra bonuses and good stuff. If you use your unused trinkets then, you're really going to start piling in tons and tons of damage. Really cool. Arcane Mages. Oh, I tried. Maybe you can pronounce it for me. Checking any other questions. Okay, I think that's it for Moonkin questions. No more questions. Okay, so I'm going to restart the stream. I'm going to give you a quick overview of how to upload and submit to me your videos. Okay, so the stream will go down for a minute or so, and then I'll be right back with how you can send me some videos. That was tonight's workshop, looking over Moonkins. Next time we've got some stuff sent in from Prop Paladins and from Blood DK, so watch out for that workshop. I'll announce it on the website and on the YouTube channel, so you don't need to worry about that. If you're interested in submitting your own stuff, watch the next video, which will be in roughly 5 minutes. And I'll tell you how I produce my video. I know some of you have been waiting to see how I produce my videos as well. I'm going to show you all that stuff and make it all incredibly easy for you. So I'm going to be back into... just to put it out there officially, it's not a case of me generating a workshop of my own choice. I will do a workshop on anybody who submits to me their gameplay of their class that they're having trouble with. I will do a workshop on it. Okay? Unless I've done it like recently. So you can watch the old workshop. You get me? Yeah, I've got all your videos. Don't worry, if you sent them already, you're in the bank. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to take the stream down, and so I can easily click it away. And then I'm going to do how to submit to me a video. Okay?